You know the vibes. Welcome back to another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast, brought to you by NBA 2K24. Myself, Mamutsi, alongside me, as always, the three-time NBA champion, Mr. BJ Armstrong. BJ, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great today, Mo. Great, real name, no gimmicks. It's a beautiful day. There's a lot on our calendar to discuss. A lot on our timeline to discuss. So Mo, go ahead. I know you watching the same thing I'm watching. So let's get to it.
I'm glad you're having I'm having a not so great day.
Oh
BJ.
no, what happened?
In my quest to get back in shape, in my quest to score this 30 points for you, I enlisted the help of a man who goes by the name of the Lethal Shooter. We had a workout yesterday.
Okay.
And I miss being 18 years old because my body is not recovering in the same way that it did when I was 18. And I woke up this morning and I limped down the stairs because my knees just felt like they turned to ash. So it's good, but it's not great. So I want to actually dedicate today's episode to our good friend, Mr. Bart, who, if you guys don't know, joined the Hoop Genius team, and now he's working hard behind the scenes on a bunch of different things. And I said to him, you are here every day, listening to our show, and you're helping us grow it. What do you want to hear us talk about? So today, we're going to talk about what Bart wants us to talk about. And for those of you guys who don't know, he is a big 90s NBA fan. He's an old school head. That's why he vibes with me and BJ, right?
Okay.
And he watched the Celtics game on Sunday night. I don't know if you saw it, BJ. The one that ended with
against the Memphis
Grizzlies blocking the Memphis Grizzlies player.
Actually, I watched that game.
And then just staring him down. Well, perfect. Because Bart said, is this the best we've ever seen from Porzingis? Talking about his fit in his role, his vibes, his performance, the 6-block bonanza, and the stare down on the final shot was like it was straight from the 90s. He says if the Celtics make a move and he's such a good fit and they're a defensive-minded team, is he the missing piece that will help the Celtics win an NBA championship? You watched the game, I watched the game. I was not surprised it was so close because it was one of those games that we talked about in previous seasons, a trap game, where you kind of take your foot off the gas a little bit. You're looking at the Grizzlies. There's no Ja Morant, no Steven Adams, no Brandon Clark, and also Marcus Smart is out injured. So we didn't get to see him go up against his former team. And the Grizzlies were in it right until the end, the final possession. But aside from that, the Celtics have been very dominant. They've got the most wins. They've got the biggest point differential in the entire NBA so far this season. What do you think about the Celtics? And has Porzingis made them almost the favorite to win the NBA championship? And do you see them going and doing it?
First, I want to start off by giving the Celtics credit to me, which is the first indicator of a good team. Beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now
I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
Yes.
Because we say this every episode now.
Yes. Yeah, like Mo, it's really hard to win in this league. I know we always think this team is better than this team. However, for people who respect that game, people who've played that game, you know how hard it is to beat. So they're missing Ja Morant. They're missing Marcus Smart. They're missing Steven Adams. Dylan Brooks no longer on their team. They're missing 4 out of their 5 starters from just a year ago. And we're talking about a 1-point game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, Mo, we can look at this from whatever angle we want to. I'm looking at it going, that's not positive. If you're talking about a championship for the Celtics.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how I'm looking at it. However, I want to also say, you know what? Boston did what they had to do to come up with the win, which is positive. A win is a win. I don't care who plays and who not. I'm not taking away any of the players who are out there playing now. However, I'm just saying here, if you look at the team from a year ago, 4 out of the 5 starters are missing, and they finished second last year.
Yeah, second, third. Man, it feels like a lifetime ago.
Okay, now, so Mo, I'm looking at this going, either Memphis is much better than I thought, or Boston is not as good as I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Now, however we want to look at it. But let me start off by saying this. Porzingis, I think this is the first time in Porzingis' career, at least that I can, where you can say he's not the first or second best player on the team.
Yeah.
Those positions are already preserved in stone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're not in pencil, they're in stone.
Facts.
Jason Tatum. And then after that is Jaylen Brown. And then everybody else you can fill in. Okay. Defensively, well, I'm not saying in stone. He hasn't been there long enough. But their best defensive player is Jrue Holiday.
Yep.
So that means, because, Mo, we are talking about a championship, we know, Mo, that if you're going to win a championship, you need a commitment to the defensive end. Okay. Well, their top three players are all pretty good on both sides of the ball. Right? We know that. So now we have Porzingis in a position where he is probably the fifth best defensive player in that starting lineup. Well, in their main, because Al Horford is a pretty good defensive player, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
He might be the fifth best defensive player on that team. Think about
Uncle
that.
Al.
And that's
coming off the bench. I would say because Derek White is an all-NBA level
I was going to say
defender.
Derek White. Derek White he was like a all-NBA last year, like second team or
Drew,
something like
that. You got Derek White, you got Porzingis,
right?
you got Tatum,
Okay.
Ben Horford, Brown,
So-
maybe together.
So suddenly now, Mo, we're looking at it and saying, he's adding a dimension that the other guys can't do, which is he can rim protect, because the other guys are all really, really good defensive players. Okay. Mo, he fits in. It's a seamlessness fit for him, because all we need him to do is protect the rim. We don't need him to switch out per se. We don't need him to, be a great help defender.
I did get worried in that towards the end of the game when he got isolated on Desmond Bain.
Well,
and
okay.
he held his own. Look, to his credit, he looked better than he has in Dallas and previous stops where he looked like a deer on ice. So
okay, so to give him credit. Now, it has been a great pickup thus far. What's going to be fascinating is, as we get through this season and we keep going, we haven't figured out yet how to attack this team.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have terrific individual defenders, along with collectively, those guys are really good. I mean, they put Jrue Holiday on Joel Embiid, I saw the other night.
Yep, that was amazing.
Okay, so we know that this team is a versatile defensive team. They have size. Okay, the only thing that they're missing, in my opinion, is the depth. They don't have a deep bench in which they could go to. Okay, but I like what they're seeing. I like the fact that they're winning games. And I think without question, right now, they are in the upper echelon of the league as far as the consistency in which you're playing with, which puts them automatically into a championship conversation. Now, have they separated themselves? No. But are they there? But no one has separated themselves. You can't say that this team or that team or whatever, the Denver Nuggets, the Minnesota Timberwolves, Boston, Miami, Milwaukee, whoever you got out there, no one's separated. However, the Boston Celtics are in the conversation, and I respect the fact when they go there and they grind a game out on the road. I don't care who it's against. So great win by them. They all add up. A win is a win, no matter if you win by 30 or you win by 1. It's a win. So give them credit for that. And they continue to pile up these wins. And in the end, they all add up.
I think, you're saying that no team's figured out how to beat them yet. I figured they just like to beat themselves at times for what we've seen in the last season through their turnovers. And
I can't say that because they have different personnel.
The other thing here, though, is I like the fact that the offense is still a lot of three-point shooting, but they've gone more to getting Jason Tatum in post-ups, getting him more in the mid-range. However, they do tend to live and die by the three. In games where their shots not fought, like last night against the Grizzlies, the reason why it was so close in the first half, I don't think anyone outside of Sam Hauser could make a three-point shot. Sam Hauser, by the way, fourth in the NBA in made three-pointers. He's been shooting at 54% over the past month.
Wow. That's fire. That's fire.
So the depth is not there, but if players like him can come along and put on performances like that, because the rest of the team gets so much attention from the defense, and he's just open to knock down shots. And my favorite thing is every team loves to target him because he looks like he should be a bad defender. That's what I will say about that. And he can hold his own. But yeah, it's a lot of live and die by the three, because that's the reason why that game against Memphis was so close, because just their shot is just one of those nights. You're going to have those nights throughout the season. And the worry is when those nights happen during the NBA playoffs, because you can't afford that. So that's my concern still with the Celtics. And everyone always asks me all the time, like, Porzingis is playing so well. Have you changed your mind on the trade and whatnot? And my answer is always the same. We're not going to be able to tell until the playoffs come around and see that different style of basketball and see if this actually holds up. So that's that for the Boston Celtics.
Here is the moment of truth for the Celtics. Okay, there are a couple of players that they're going to have to go through to get to the NBA Finals. One of them is going to have to be Bam.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is going to have to be Joel Embiid, and one of them is going to have to be Giannis. Okay, I don't know which one they're going to see. They may see all three of them.
Yep.
Okay, and that's where we're going to find out whether this trade was the right trade or not. Because let me tell you something. Seeing those guys at the level of physicality that he's going to have to see for 7 games, okay, that's 21 games he would have to play for us to answer that question. And Mo, I just don't know that answer. Like, I don't know, other than Jokic, I don't know what other player I can say comfortably that can, they're going to handle that situation. Like Jokic, all right.
I don't even know then if it will be comfortable to face Denver.
Well, when I say comfortable, like, he's going to match the energy of the game. Like, okay, this guy may get you 30.
He's so much stronger than Porzingis that I don't think that's even a comfortable matchup, because he's just going to walk him down every time. Because Porzingis can be a rim protector in terms of a weak side defender, help defender blocking shots. But when Jokic posts him up, Porzingis is a skinny guy. He's added muscle, but I don't even think that's a comfortable one.
This is what I'm saying. So this is going to be our moment of truth here. This is going to be our moment of truth. And I don't know what that really entails, but I do know, Mo, is that your reputation is always, enhanced by your performance in the playoffs. Okay? Porzingis is a really good basketball player. Clearly, he has size, length, he can shoot it, he can do all those things. However, the tale of the tape for him is that's the moment. And when he comes out of that battle mode, then you and I can say, this is what we saw. Mm-hmm. And we will be able to answer that question, because, that's a big task. Hey, Mo.
Hell yeah. But if he does win that battle, I just got to let you know, you're not going to see me for about 6 months. I'm going to be running down the streets of Boston with my head. I agreed. So
okay. I respect that too. And I'm sure that you won't be alone as you're doing your laps. You won't be alone. There'll be a lot of people. Okay?
Yes, sir. Hopefully. But you know what? Speaking of Porzingis, I was rewatching the Golden State OKC game from the other day, and one possession really stood out to me, and it was Chet Holmgren posting up on Chris Paul. And Chris Paul is strong for his size. He's got low center of gravity, and he managed to stop Holmgren from backing him down, kind of pushed him out a little bit and forced him to give the ball. And it reminded me of a young Porzingis who kind of struggled to post up against these smaller defenders. And then after a few years, he figured out, well, I'm just going to turn around, face up, and shoot over the top of you. Because there's no way Chris Paul's going to alter my shot. I'm 7 foot tall. So I was enjoying watching that and seeing the growth of Chet and whatnot. And it brought to mind what we said the other day on the podcast about how great this team is with those young players. You've got almost 4 guys that could be running up high value contracts. And there is a worry in this league, because that's why we say every season is not guaranteed. Like we used to say about the OKC Thunder when they had Russell Westbrook, Harden, Kevin Durant, and everyone thought this is the team for the future. They've got all these young guys. They're in the finals, X, Y, Z. And then they had to break it up. And we might see the same with OKC. Bart wanted to know, just continuing this conversation, did the Grizzlies ride rise to success happen way too quickly. Because after they got Ja Morant, they went from a lottery team to a team who, as you said, was the second seed last season.
You mean Memphis Grizzlies?
Yeah, the Memphis Grizzlies. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, they've gone from a lottery team to a team that's trying to challenge the Warriors in 22, and then last season they were the second seed. Do you think that the success came too quickly for them, and now they have these huge expectations? Obviously, their record is not reflective of their team with so many key pieces out. But last season's playoffs and whatnot. Do you think that it all happened a little too fast? And is there a worry about that happening for young teams in the NBA?
For the Memphis Grizzlies, did that happen too fast for the Memphis Grizzlies? Okay. No, I don't think it happened too fast. Ja Morant is an exceptional player. And, Mo, one of the fastest ways to improve your team is to play a style of play that really takes advantage of the rules of the game today and how we play. Okay, we play this game, Mo, where there's pace and space. If you look at the games this evening, well, early in the morning for you guys, you're going to see literally a 5-out offense, meaning there will be 5 guys on the perimeter at the 3-point line, and they will be doing what we call drive and kick situations, taking advantage and putting up 30, 40, 50 threes in one game. Now, what does that entail? Well, that means that puts a premium on skilled players who have the ability to play off the dribble, because we know the most difficult thing to do is to guard someone where you can't impede their progress, right? I cannot touch you, Mo. Mm-hmm. So the offensive player has a significant advantage. Okay. So that puts the defensive player at a significant disadvantage, right? And that's called help defense. So why are coaches all doing this? Is because everyone is exploiting the weakness of the rules and knowing you can't touch a player.
Yeah.
Now, with that, Mo, the easiest way to take advantage of this style of play, which really is small ball, is you find a player who has the ability to play downhill. Meaning, if you miss a shot, Mo, and in transition defense, if you have a player that has the ability to break down the defense and get into the lane and can spray the ball to the corners and all those things, you have a significant advantage. Well, they have a player who does that exceptionally well, along with his ability to finish at the rim, and his name is Ja Morant.
Mm-hmm.
So we know, Mo, that if you find a player who can play downhill, who can play screen roll and break down the defense, and has the ability to finish at the basket himself or passing the ball to shooters, and you put shooting around them, it gives you a significant advantage. Well, Ja Morant is one of the best in the business. He's one of the best, Mo. I mean, Mo, he's just an exceptional player where you have to literally wall him up, okay? You have to wall him up. You can't keep him in front of you. He's just that good. He's that fast. So that's why there's such a premium on guard play. That's why it's such a premium on players who have the ability to play off the dribble. And when you find that player, you incorporate that into your style, into your system. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to work. Why? Because the defense can't consistently keep this player out of the painted area. That's just what it is in today's game. Mm-hmm. So do I think they did it too quickly? No. I mean, they just had a player who today's game is built for a player like him. Mm-hmm. That's why, you talk about Russell Westbrook and Derrick Rose and Chris Paul and Ja Morant and Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving. The list just goes on and on. You look at De'Aaron Fox today. De'Aaron Fox is arguably one of the best players right now that's probably under 6'3", 6'4", who can consistently do this. I mean, they just give him the ball and he just plays downhill every single time. Right now, Mo, I don't know if this is a hot take, but right now, there's no question to me that Shai Alexander, is the best lead guard in the NBA.
Hey, that's interesting.
I don't know.
What do you think
the
the gap between him and De'Aaron Fox We're discounting Steph Curry because he's not a traditional lead guard, right? So Steph's off the table. And then Luka Doncic is basically like a forward playing the guard position, same with LeBron. So if we're talking about those point guards, you've got Shea, you've got De'Aaron Fox. Who else do you put in that category?
De'Aaron Fox and Shea are the best lead guards in the NBA today, right now.
Yeah,
they're the best.
And who do you think's just under them? Just in that, just so the listeners have a frame of reference of the type of player we're referring to.
Yeah, well, anybody that plays the lead guard position, right? You know, anybody who plays the lead guard position. Shea Alexander, and the reason I have him just slightly, is because of his size. Size matters because Shea can go on the box and post up any guard in the NBA. He's just too big.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. De'Aaron Fox just can't go and post up Steph Curry, but Shea Alexander can just go post any of those guys up.
Mm-hmm.
Any of them. He could just take them to the box. He could take Kyrie Irving. He could take Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, De'Aaron Fox. That's the difference. And that matters when you get to the playoffs. Why? Because your guard, who more times than not is probably your best passer, with the exception of Jokic, he can pass from the post. You got to double team him. He's just too big of a player. He will punish smaller guards. He'll punish any guard. You can't put a small guard on him. He's just that good. He's that creative. He's that crafty. He finishes. He can post up. He plays in, you know, he blocked Steph Curry's jump shot the other night, for crying out loud. I mean, this guy is like, he is without question, he is the best lead guard in the NBA. So without question. De'Aaron Fox is right there. I don't even think it's so close because De'Aaron Fox has the ability to he can get in the paint anytime he wants to. I mean, he's unbelievable. I mean, I watched him the other night versus the Dallas Mavericks. It might have been last night. Mo, he's just so good. He just right now, he's just so good. Okay. Now, you have some really good guards now. You have Steph Curry, obviously. You have Jamal Murray. You have Kyrie Irving. You got some Damian Lillard. This guy, Shea Alexander, right now, he's just too big for any guard in the league. And then this other guy is just too fast, De'Aaron Fox. He just, and I think everyone knows it. That's not taking away from the other guys. It's just saying right now, as lead guards, those guys they're playing the game now at another level. Those two. Shea Alexander right now, Shea Alexander and Anthony Edwards, they're just, I don't even know what to say about those two. Like you say, like, who's up next? Forget next. Who's up right now? These guys are that good. Those two players right now, they've really taken the next step, Mo, into what, when you say superstar, those two guys have already taken the step. They're here now. They're not like trying to figure out who they're going to be. They're here. De'Aaron Fox to me is there now too.
Well, so another name that gets put in those conversations by fans a lot is Tyrese Halliburton. What do you think, in your opinion, he needs to do to get to that top tier? Because in my opinion, he's pretty close. So if not, he's in the same tier as those guys. What do you think?
I think, last year he really made Halliburton really like jumped on the scene. Okay. If I remember correctly, he became an all-star. Okay. Now I think it's time now to carry that burden. Okay. I know Shea has Shea made the playoffs yet? I think, did he make the playoffs with the Clippers? Young?
Was he not?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
He made the playoffs with
Chris Paul on
OKC. Yeah, Chris Paul
against the Rockets.
Okay. So I think it's time now for Tyrese Halliburton, who's having a phenomenal season right now. He's got nice size. Once he gets to the playoffs and he performs like that in the playoffs with another season like he had a year ago, a meaningful season, then Mo, there's nothing else to talk about. Is he right there? He's knocking at the door. I mean, Mo, this guy's putting up incredible numbers. These other guys, Anthony Edwards, Shea Alexander, De'Aaron Fox, I mean, these guys have, okay, they're letting you know we can get there. We can get there. Now, it's just a matter of them working with their organizations and saying, this is what these guys need to advance. Well, these are like elite players. And Tyrese Halliburton this year, if they get to the playoffs and there's no reason for me to believe that he won't perform at that level, then he's not only knocked the door, he kicked it down, and now he's in.
I mean,
this game is in good position with these young guys coming up, and they're moving into the next phase of their careers.
I mean, for me, Tyrese Halliburton has to improve his defense a little bit, or maybe more than just a little bit, to be really elite. A random NBA trivia fact I discovered recently: Tyrese Halliburton has a cousin in the NBA. Do you know who his cousin is?
I have no idea.
Jalen Suggs.
I didn't know that.
That's very random, right? I never heard about that before.
I didn't know that.
It's almost like Suggs got all the defense from the family tree, and Halliburton got all the 3-point shooting.
Not Suggs. Shout out to Jalen Suggs.
He's improved a lot this year as well. By the way.
He's a terrific young man. I got to know him through his draft process here. Terrific. And by the way, he's a unbelievable football player, a quarterback.
NFL, yeah. American football.
Yeah, American football. He's an unbelievable. I mean, he's probably an NFL level quarterback.
Wow.
He's that type of athlete. And he's a really good player. And I'm telling you, that Orlando Magic team, they've put together a nice group down there, and they're doing some nice things. And he's certainly a reason why they're doing that. So shout out to him. But Halliburton has a funky shot. It's a funky shot, right?
It's weird, right? It's weird.
But it's effective. So that's all that matters. Just
on Suggs, tied first in loose balls recovered, third in steals per game, and sixth in deflections per game. So that NFL hustle, physicality is really coming into play. So shout out to him.
Oh, yes.
We love those kind of players over here. Yeah, Halliburton's shot is so unconventional. Or maybe it is conventional because it looks like a player shooting from a historic tape of basketball, but it goes in, and that's all that matters. It's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. Has anything else been standing out to you from around the NBA that you wanted to talk about on today's episode?
Well, nothing really. I watched a really good game last night, and we haven't spoken about him. We haven't spoken about the Lakers much, or at least I don't recall.
I tried to avoid that.
Yes, but
not because I hate the Lakers, but because fans of the NBA are spammed constantly by ESPN every day talking about the Lakers. So I like this to be a nice place they can get some actual talk about the rest of the league. Because I've not seen ESPN talk about Orlando once, or Washington, or half these teams that we talk about here. But let's do it. Let's talk about the Lakers.
Let's talk about the Lakers a little bit. It was a really nice win
against the Houston Rockets.
Yes, against the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets. I mean, that's one of those games where you played well enough to win, and they lose. But if you're going to lose a game, you're going to lose a game because it was just a tremendous individual effort. And LeBron James,
right till the end.
Yes. Listen, LeBron James was unbelievable. And you lose the way you lost, I can live with that. But the Houston Rockets, they are, you talk about a team that's really made some strides. I mean, they're doing this on the road. Okay. They're playing, and they played well enough last night to win the game. They were up by double digits for a large portion of this game. And it just took a great individual effort. And sometimes, that's what LeBron just had a great game. He had 37, 38 points or something he had last night. But I just wanted to point that out because the Houston Rockets fan base, you guys should really get your tickets now, because this team in a year or two, they look like they could really do something. I mean, they look like they got a nice group there. I like what they're doing.
I'll tell you what, a year or two, we're gonna have Alperen Şengün as a fixture in the All-Star game. Are you aboard this? Are you aboard this ride?
Well, he did something last night that was really funny. He gave me the one-leg Jokic.
Yep, that's his move.
He gave me the one-leg Jokic last night.
I'll tell you this. He's from Turkey, right, BJ?
Right.
I call him Turk Nowitzki. I got that from one of the comments on my YouTube video about the Rockets. I ain't taking credit for it.
I'm just gonna call it. The kid is a really good player. I mean, he is a really good player, and they're doing things now where you can tell that he is one of their centerpieces for their young players. They went to him late in the game on the box
with LeBron guarding him.
And he scored. Okay. Now, it took a great individual effort to beat this team. However, they played like a team that's playing with a lot of confidence as a young team. They're playing meaningful basketball, and they're going to be a tough team. Okay. They're going to be a tough team, especially at home. So, but Sengun is a really good player. They're doing and you know what? I'm going to say it here. I'm a Dylan Brooks fan.
Hey,
I like Dylan Brooks.
I put a post on Instagram that's been going crazy because I was talking about the redemption arc of Dylan Brooks. Like the most hated player last year is now slowly becoming. Everyone's starting to realize, well, maybe he ain't that bad of a guy. He beat Team USA in the Olympics, in the World Cup. And now he's shooting really well, and he's playing great defense. In fact, there's a whole 20-minute video on YouTube that you can watch. It's on youtube.com/Hoop Genius, where you can watch this all about the Rockets. So one thing that
shows up. I mean, he shows up. Mo, I mean, he had like 24, 25 points last night, and he shows up like Mo. Like, you know what? You got to respect it, right? You know what I mean? So I'm a Dylan Brooks guy. Great pickup for them. Fred VanVleet, great pickup for them. Sengun developed.
You know who else was a great pickup? Jeff Green was a fantastic pickup. And here's one thing that really stood out to me. They had a game last week where Jabari Smith Jr. came out of the game. And remember, the number was the number 3 overall pick in a draft a couple of years ago. He came out of the game, and they put Jeff Green in to close. Now, a lot of players who are a top 3 pick in the NBA draft, they would feel some type of way about it. Jabari Smith says, we're winning. I ain't tripping about it. Jeff closing the game is great. It's good for me to see what he's doing in those situations, why he's in, and then just learn from it. And so to have a franchise where the young players have that mentality, because we've seen other teams where players get subbed out in the closing stages and they have a strop sitting on the bench. That really stood out to me, and it speaks volumes about the mindset of Jabari and what Ime Udoka's got going on over in Houston. So, man, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to keep watching the Rockets.
I am too. I got to give them credit. So, but yeah, it's good. You know, it's a lot of good games coming on tonight, and
man,
you know, it's great that we can you know, share a little NBA insight.
Yes, sir. I mean, I don't like this week because Thursday night is Thanksgiving, so no NBA.
NFL over here. NFL.
Yeah, you guys have that. But that does mean on Friday, for the fans in the UK, you get a nice early tip-off. You get to watch my Boston Celtics against the Orlando Magic at 7:30 in the evening UK time. How beautiful is that? That's on Friday for you to look forward to. And yeah, man, it's going to be a good week. Stay locked in. Subscribe to the Hoop Genius podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple, wherever you get your podcast from. And most importantly, get buckets.